Hi guys, sorry about the shaky camera. So today I thought I'd just go through a little bit of journaling with you and some issues that I've been kind of working through. And what I'll do first, I'll put in a little segment now where I'm kind of opening and describing what's in my kind of art colour journal and watercolour journal, and then I'll come back and explain. Hi guys, so today I'm really trying to kind of de-stress. Obviously we're all going through a really tough time, and I'm trying to kind of find other ways, so obviously exercise and things like that. But if you followed me before, you know that I have made like a watercolor art journal, and this is what it looks like. So I've got the camera in a different angle just for today, and so this is what I have done before. But what I've got here is obviously got my pen here, and I have my just a journal with kind of lined pages here, because what I am struggling with is the writing part. Sorry about the shaky camera. That's what I'm struggling really, is with the writing part of everything. So this is what I have done before if you haven't seen it, and I do have a section on a playlist where it does show when I made this and how I made it. So I just keep it in this Amazon bag just to keep it kind of protected. And I got this as a gift from Christmas. I think there was something in it I got it from one of my family, and they had sent it through Amazon, so Amazon gave like a little gift bag. So this is how I'd made it before, and a lot of it was kind of paper I had around the house, but also pictures I'd seen online and printed. And this was basically more pictures. So as I said, I'm struggling kind of with the kind of writing side of it. So this was kind of what I'd done here, and I'd found this in one of my books, and it says self-acceptance gives you the much needed energy and freedom to grow. And so I'd kind of just cut little pieces of paper in a shape like that so that I could write behind it. And you can see that I haven't really written anything, and some of them are lined there as well if you kind of want lined paper, but I'd just kind of gotten a couple of sheets of paper and lined them, and then I'd made a little envelope there myself. I had different kind of material, and what I've done is then just popped something in here just to show that, remind myself that notes can fit in there as well. So that was that section. And then I found this watercolor of a woman, and with the makeup and the watercolors are beautiful. And so I stuck that on the next section in the front, and then behind I made an envelope. And the colors here are, because I didn't have paints or anything like that, these are two eyeshadows that I focused on. This part here was just the top of an envelope that I stuck on, but the under here is actually a shimmer golden eyeshadow. And then I did that on the entire front and back page, and then I cut some of the paper and stuck it here, and then I also colored here as well, and then you can put stuff in there. And I think this was just something I'd done as well. This is just actually an old book, guys, that I cut up, and I think this is in my how I made it is in another section, which I will obviously put in the info bar, or I will put in the description below. So this was just an old book that I had, so I cut it out into an envelope sheet, and this actually falls out like that, so it has different sections that you can put things in. So here I just have some paper here that I've done, so that just says my name there. It's probably coming out backwards on screen. You could put anything in there, guys, that you want to really. And this just has other sheets of paper that I'd used eyeshadow to blend different sections as well, and it has kind of sections, and that was just a book that I didn't use anymore, so you can see the writing, and I just shaped it into a certain section. So then behind that I'd found other pictures, so behind this envelope, if I just pull that up, there's a section for notes again, but then behind that I had found a picture of a woman here, and it was all this particular, if you see in my previous video that I'd written, or sorry, not that I'd written, that I'd recorded, was kind of like a future goals. So this woman I found, and she was on one of the watercolor painting websites, and it was free to print and things like that, so there wasn't any, you weren't kind of breaking any rules. I know some artists don't allow you to print their pictures and things like that, but this was something that I found absolutely beautiful, and I will stick a picture maybe in the sections in the corner of the screen. But this was something really nice. And then I found another quote that I put here, and it said, "Let your dreams be your North Star." So that was kind of something in the future that I wanted, you know, like family. And then it does open up here. There's like a little side pocket here, and I just put two pictures of, one was a garden, on the other side is a kind of a proposal. You can see there to a lady, and I thought that was a beautiful scenery. It was like a forest in the background, but in the daytime when you turn it around, it had like a little gazebo, and again it was a watercolor, and then I just put ribbon around it that I had. So yeah, I'm with the watercolors, and the watercolor journals, I seem to be great at that. But it's kind of the, sorry if there's a text coming through there, guys. But it's kind of the writing section that I'm really struggling with, guys, that, you know, everyone is going through so much at the minute. And I think it's so important, you know, for us to try and have some way of actually dealing with it. And so this is the book. It's a journal I've had that's completely blank. I'll just show you the front. And it just says, I got it again as a Christmas gift. I've never written in it. It says hopes and dreams. And then it's just got blank pages for you to write in. So that's kind of my next challenge. Hi guys, so that was kind of the section on the watercolor art journal. But what I'm really struggling with at the minute is actually writing out emotions, because everybody is obviously going through the same emotions. You know, other people are in different circumstances caused by the same issue, and I think for me it's just been a struggle. And I have written a book, as you guys know, but I think because I was focused on that subject matter, it's easy to fictionalize characters around it, but this is real life. So I'm finding it really, really hard. I'm seeing obviously a lot of people that I follow on YouTube are starting their diaries. They're calling it the COVID diaries, and or the COVID journals. But for me in general, it's been a very long time since I've actually written, as in, you know, my feelings, my emotions and things like that, because I think it's more about me. It's not me focusing myself and my writing on something else, which I have done before. And it's just, my friends are saying it's just really therapeutic for them, and I really do love writing, and it's very unique for me to have a journal that's just completely blank. But again, I'm finding it very, very tough to write in it, and I think it's because you're reflecting back on yourself. You're reflecting back on your feelings. Maybe you don't want to kind of focus on certain feelings because maybe it's too much, but then because we're in these times and we don't have that outside access to help, we do have to have those emotions kind of, and the ability to get them out in some way. And so yes, it's amazing to have kind of these journals, and junk journaling is something that I'd love to start. Maybe like just, you know, decorating your journal might give you more inspiration to actually write. Sometimes I find when I'm listening to music and I write, I start to kind of get somewhere, but then I don't continue with it. So it's something that I've really been struggling with, and I'm definitely making a promise to myself to write and kind of get it out, what I'm feeling and things like that, and be able to look back on it. Because when you write, I realize nobody can judge you. No one's going to see it unless you want them to. It's a safe place. So I have been looking at a lot of people who are doing it online just for inspiration. And I am hoping to kind of get back into that. I mean, I journaled a lot as a teenager, a lot. I don't know where they are now, but I think for every year I had a journal, every summer, every winter. But I think that everyone says that's the most difficult time of your life. I don't think it is. I think it is at the time, but then I think when you get into certain age groups and times of your life, and things aren't necessarily going down the same path, and I think I've said that before, I've touched on the subject of the majority of my friends having families, and, you know, their children are kind of, some of them are as young as 2, but some of them are turning 12, and it just, you can't help it, but it just kind of makes you reflect back on yourself. So before COVID, that's always been something I struggled with anyway. So I think now it seems to be a lot of what people I follow on YouTube are starting to do, and it seems to really work for them. And writing, I thought, would just come naturally to me because I have written books and I have, you know, I have done that before. So I thought it would be kind of an easy flow for me to do, but it is something that I'm struggling with, and that's why I'm hoping kind of to to kind of transition from the kind of artistic journals, and you can make it your own, it doesn't have to be anything like this, to actually writing, which is the tough part. I think it's the very tough part. No matter what you write about, the writing, your personal writing, is the toughest I think you can do, because you can research a topic, you can fictionalize characters around it, and you can create a book and a novel, your first novel, your first, you know, whatever you choose to do. But when you're looking into yourself, I think that for me is the big kind of the big I suppose challenge. And I have obviously done videos here before where I've recorded kind of inspirations and my book and everything like that. But again, that was, you know, a certain subject matter that I researched heavily, that I then created fictionalized characters around and wanted to hope, you know, in hopes of helping others, which, you know, I've had letters to say it has, and that's great. And I'm so appreciative and so happy that's helped you. And I think now, almost, I think one of the, and I can't remember her name, but one of the girls on YouTube that was looking at doing these journals and videoed, you know, recorded her experience, she said it's almost like your own kind of therapist. And I thought that was a really good way of putting it, because a lot of us don't have access to you know, the outside world, in terms of even having someone to talk to. Like my mum, for example, lives by herself. My dad lives by himself, but he works, so he's going out. He's still able to work. He's a lawyer, so he can do Zoom. If he has to go to court, he can do that. But he's having that stimulation. And so is my brother. He's a lawyer too, and he lives in Boston with my dad. And they're both having that stimulation where mum's retired for a while. She had her little routine, and now that's just almost just stopped, you know, all at once. And it's been since February. So there's a lot kind of that other people that I'm aware of are dealing with. And I think some people are really good at writing, some people are great at speaking, some people are great at just listening to music, but they all find their release. And I think I haven't found that yet. So no, it was interesting for me to kind of, that was my whole purpose, I suppose, behind looking at these other people, not just women. There was men online who were doing their journals, things like that, even the basics of just your plan throughout the day. But for me, what I really wanted to do, and I think what I need to focus on, just to help myself, because we are eventually going to get out of this. And I know at the moment, every day you're waking up and it's the same. It's almost like Groundhog Day. But there must be a day where we all look back, and our children look back, and they, I know I don't have children, but you know, children are going to look back at this. They may not remember what we remember, but they will be taught it. We will one day have the freedom to do what we did again. It may not be today or tomorrow, but I think that's what everyone is struggling with. Yes, there will be some light at the end of the tunnel, but I think the end of the tunnel is quite far away, and it's further than maybe we thought, with travel restrictions and things. And I think that's more of a sensitive topic to me at the minute, because both my parents live in different countries and I live in Oxford. So that is something that, even though it's been so long, guys, it only hit me last night, and I was like, this is where I am. I'm yes, I can Zoom my parents, but, or I can Skype, but this is actually going to be my situation for a long time. And so without going to see the children, without my job in childcare, it is an extremely unusual place to be emotionally. So this will be my challenge, and you know, it seems to be what a lot of people are doing, and that's helping them. So what helped me realize goals and picture things, literally picture things, was an art journal, because you can print what you want. You can see that, for example, you can see that woman and she's, you know, she's pregnant. You can see that there's a man proposing to a woman. There's visual things you're looking at that automatically make you, it's like a song. You listen to a song, you're not necessarily listening to the song alone, you're listening to the song and it's reminding you of something that's happened in the past. So it's almost like you recognize that song and you note it with some part of your life. So when you look at this, it's almost a little bit like a mini therapy, because you're looking at that couple, then you're looking at the daytime, and there's like a gazebo, so it's relaxing. You know, you're then looking at, you know, there's watercolor, beautiful woman. This woman is then walking through, you know, the town, and she's got this beautiful yellow jacket, and it's very positive, even though it's raining, there's color around her. So it's very positive the minute you open that book. And then obviously the one towards the end, if I can get it there, is the kind of positive picture there. There's just my notes that are blank, obviously, because I'm struggling with the writing. And there's just, you know, that picture again, very burnt orange and blues in the background, but it does stand out, absolutely stands out. And you basically, what I think I'm trying to get across is, you open something like that and it hits you, the message hits you immediately because you can see it, it's there. Writing is different because you're having to write what's in your mind, and you know, looking at something like this, it automatically puts that, like looking at a picture, looking at a painting, you can see the scene is set, I guess. And so for me, it's going to be kind of a journey, a challenge for sure. Because even before COVID, I was struggling with things, and I think I've mentioned that in a couple of videos from my previous house when I had been just getting ready with me's and chatting away about how it felt. But this is an unusual place. I mean, I was looking back at my pictures the other day, and it was my prom, and I was 18, and I, you know, in Ireland with all my friends, and who was to know that I'd be in Oxford 10 years later? Like, who was to know that I would be in Oxford, that I would have been married, then I would have gotten separated. We're still, you know, friends, where it just hasn't worked. But who would have known that, you know? And it's kind of like, then I would have had a relationship that didn't work, that I threw everything into, that didn't work. So I moved back to the UK, and here we are. And it's crazy. It does make you kind of look at yourself and say, this is now, yes, you're at this stage, but COVID is going to stop it for a while, so you need to have some sort of release in between. And so that's what a lot of people online I've seen, and some friends, have been doing. So yes, this is going to be my challenge. I will probably start to junk journal. I know there's a lot of people that junk journal, and before they write, they decorate it to try and get that inspiration, and then they write and things like that. Or they put a photograph of their family and they kind of introduce themselves. Not that anybody else is going to see it, but they kind of, as a starting point on the first page, they introduce themselves. They might put a picture and then they go on from there. And so I am going to really try my hardest. I really am. As you can see today, I do have some foundation on and things like that, because my previous video would have been the black soap from the Body Shop, which is the Himalayan black soap. So what I've done is, this is day 2, so I've took a picture for day 1, as well as recording the video. I've now took a picture today, this morning, after I cleansed, for day 2. So as I chat in the video on Sunday, I will pop the little picture so you can see the kind of gradual, if there is an improvement and that kind of thing, and I'll give my thoughts of that afterwards. So yes, this is something that is definitely a challenge, but I'm really going to try. And I know some people say, you know, put some music on in the background, maybe your favorite music, your favorite group, and maybe kind of focus in on that music, and if it links into an emotion. I've seen some of my friends and heard my friends when we've been chatting away, that they're doing that too. So yes, this was just a little video, guys, because I think it's probably very relatable if you're watching it right now, whether you're subscribed or not subscribed. Thank you for the subscribers, old and new, but it might just be something that you say, this is exactly what I'm doing. And I may not have done an art journal, I may not have done that, but it's just the writing that's struggling. And I think that's because maybe you just don't face things and you put them in the back of your mind. So yes, that's something that I will be doing, and I hope everyone again is still having a safe week, having a great week, and see you in the next video, guys, which should be Sunday, with the results of the Himalayan soap from the Body Shop.